Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I watch crazy stinky content for your entertainment. Are we doing that today? You bet your bottom. It's just more of that. Today we're going to talk about 2021. The haters will say, who cares about 2021? 2021 is just 2020. 2020 part 2. It's not going to change that much. Why be excited? There is a reason to be excited. A movie by the name of Johnny Mnemonic, made in 1995, starring Keanu Reeves, America's sweetheart, told us exactly what's going to happen. And I'm going to share that with you. So sit back, relax. This is how 2021 is going to go. This is exactly how it's going to be. All right, so the movie begins with scrolling text, which is how every great movie starts. Movies that start with literature,
we love those.
Second decade of 21st century. Corporations rule. The world is threatened by a new plague, NAS. NAS stands for nerve attenuation syndrome, which is fatal, epidemic. The sentence structure, I'm struggling. I feel like a baby right now. Its cause and cure unknown. The corporations are opposed by the low-techs, a resistance movement risen from the streets. Hackers, data pirates, guerrilla fighters in the InfoWars. This sounds familiar.
It says InfoWars?
It says InfoWars.
Oh my god, that's prophetic.
I know. You understand? You get why this is happening. I had to tell someone about this freaking movie. The corporations defend themselves though. They hire the Yakuza. Yes, that Yakuza, the very same Yakuza, the most powerful of all crime syndicates. They sheath their data in black ice, lethal viruses, waiting to burn the brains of intruders. But low-techs wait in their strongholds, in old city cores like rats in the walls of the world. Wow. The most valuable information must sometimes be entrusted to mnemonic couriers, elite agents who smuggle data in wet-wired brain implants. The movie begins in the internet 2021 to be exact. The opening shot seems very familiar. Keanu Reeves waking up to his computer telling him to get up. Technology tells all of us to get up. Whoa. Keanu, aka Johnny Smith, wakes up to his companion leaving the room to go get ice.
We've got ice.
We already have ice. Like it for some reason his acting is kind of. Johnny calls his friend Ralphie and asks him if he can finally get a full restoration of all of his memories. Ralphie says, no, not yet. You need to do one more job. Johnny's not happy with that, but does it anyway. Ralphie tells him that he has one more job in Beijing. Johnny leaves his hotel and has to go through a crowd of protesters all wearing masks. So before Johnny can do this one last job, because he is one of those couriers that was mentioned in the scrolling literature that we were required to read to understand the plot and context of Johnny's job. So before he can do that last job in Beijing, he needs to double his capacity, his data capacity. Right now he has 80 gigs in the old noggin. So he steps into an elevator, takes out his doubler, and goes from 80 gigs to a big, fat, thick 160. Big brain. He's a big brain now. He's got 160 gigabytes. The doubler warns him not to exceed capacity because there obviously will be consequences as a giant walking USB if you exceed your 160 gigabytes. They thought that was so much in 1995. I love that.
Lord bless me with 80 gigabytes.
Thank you, Lord, for this 80 gigs. They couldn't even fathom a terabyte. That would just literally, it would blow their minds. A terabyte, get right out of town. He doubles his brain capacity and then he goes on his way to collect the data. And he knocks on the door and he does this weird, I don't know whose decision this was, but everyone points a gun at him and he says,
Double cheese anchovies?
It's a choice. They confirm he's Mr. Smith. He goes, question. I don't know why, but he's like, question. Johnny asks them, how large is the file you need to carry and where does it need to go? They tell him it's 320 gigabytes and it needs to go to Newark.
Your storage capacity.
More than adequate.
Now, if I recall correctly, this man only has 160 gigs. Is that right? And what does he say? Yeah, no problem. I can carry that. No problem. So he gets hooked up to this machine so he can absorb the information he needs to carry.
Hit me.
While he's absorbing this information, they encrypt it by using 3 random photos that are found on TV, and that's going to be faxed to Newark. Yes, we're still faxing things in 2021. Don't worry. That's faxed to Newark. He also carries a copy of the encryption photos on his person. Once they're done, the machine warns him that synaptic seepage is a real thing and he should not be carrying more than he can handle. He ignores that fully. He gets unplugged and he goes straight to the restroom because his nose starts bleeding immediately. You can't put 320. You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Try to put 320 gigabytes and 160 gigabyte home.
That there's a circle peg. Anyway, he has his nosebleed and then does the weirdest Tai Chi I've ever seen in my life. While he's still in the bathroom, we see the Yakuza creeping up on the door, getting ready to bust in and steal that information. One of the members of the Yakuza carries around a thumb with a detachable thumbnail that makes a laser whip. So he's got this laser thumb that he goes around cutting holes, cutting arms, cutting heads off. The Yakuza bust in, they start shooting people down. Keanu finally comes out of the restroom after several people have been gunned down. He flips his way through the Yakuza. Johnny gets out with one of 3 encryption pictures, and someone stays behind and tries to burn the last 2, but gets his hand cut off by laser thumb. So now Yakuza have 2 of the 3 encryption photos. Johnny makes it out of there and goes unrecognized whilst walking out of the elevator because he's in this disguise. I don't know what this is. So Johnny's on his way to Newark. Cut to the star of this movie, in my opinion, Takeshi Kitano. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant actor. He's brilliant in this because everyone else is a little... but he's fantastic. So he is the head of the pharmaceutical company that hired the Yakuza to get this information out of Johnny's head. So we see Takahashi speaking to Laser Thumb about beheading Johnny for the information. So he sends him off and to go take Johnny's head off. So Johnny lands and has to call Ralphie again. Johnny uses his AT&T taxi cab dash phone to call Ralphie again, to ask him what in the world is going on. Why is Yakuza after me? What's happening? Ralphie's super vague, very sus. Johnny's upset. Cut to this club where we meet the character Spider, played by Henry Rollins, lead vocalist of Black Flag, is in this movie. He's speaking to Jane, who wants to be one of Ralphie's bodyguards because apparently that is a coveted role. That's not 100% clear why. For some reason, Jane wants to do it and begs Ralphie to be one of his bodyguards by putting another bodyguard in an arm lock. He rejects her. I don't know what. There's no point in really showing us this. Jane is a bodyguard for hire, period. Henry Rollins is here. Let's move on. Johnny is wandering around trying to find the club that Ralphie is in. And this is when we meet J-Bone, aka Ice-T, the leader of the Low-Techs, leader of the Resistance, Ice-T, and his friend Toad. Now Johnny is kind of skulking around. Ice-T is watching, surveying the land, and there are, bad guys everywhere looking for Johnny. One of them shoots Ice-T's sidekick, Toad. Ice-T feels nothing, just stares at Toad's body as it falls off of this building. And then J-Bone and Johnny work together to get rid of the bad guys. So Ice-T tells them where he can find Ralphie, wherever that club is. Johnny runs up on Ralphie and starts to threaten him. And of course, a bodyguard takes him out. And he wakes up on this table where the Yakuza is actually working with Ralphie.
Ralphie.
And Laser Thumb is here to cut off Johnny's head. But thankfully, Jane, the wannabe bodyguard, is crawling through the largest air ducts I've ever seen. Her whole body can fit in there, no problem. So it's weird. The math, she's directly above Johnny, who's about to be decapitated. She comes down, kicks the little grate that's on the air duct, and it flies at a 90-degree angle, hits Laser Thumb, and she starts doing this weird like Zorro pose on top of Johnny. Johnny's like, I'll pay you to save me. She's like, bet. And then they fight. Bodyguard Jane is fighting. Johnny's fighting. They get away. And then Ralphie, Laser Thumb slices him like salami. Ralphie looks at his body and then does this weird like pepperoni thing with his body. It's 1995. After Jane and Johnny get out of that slippery situation, they enter this tube or wherever. They're trying to escape, but Johnny starts experiencing leakage. That synaptic seepage. Synaptic seepage is happening. Jane realizes we got to get this guy to his destination fast. Now, cut back to Takahashi, who's watching a video of his daughter who has died from unknown reasons, probably Nas. This woman appears on his screen and warns him that Laser Thumb has ulterior motives. He has bad intentions. Takahashi ignores that and is like, whatever. So now we get a little bit of backstory from Johnny. Jane asks him what he does. He explains that he's a courier, and she's asking him, like, how does one get this job? Like, how do you get that space in your brain? And he admits that he had to get rid of his childhood.
Your childhood? Really?
So he starts out with 80 gigs. His childhood was 80 gigs worth? Your whole childhood is 80 gigs, Johnny? He says that he wasn't really missing anything, which kind of doesn't make sense with the plot, because at the beginning, he needs that back. He's probably just being a cool boy. Like, I don't care about my childhood. Being a child is so lame. There's no reason to flex that you don't care about your memories, Johnny. It's okay. Is it gay to remember? Is it gay to have memories, Johnny? Is that what this is? So they're not really getting along.
We got parents and stuff?
You got parents and stuff?
Jane is questioning him so much that at one point he's so frustrated, and he tells her,
I think I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need a computer.
His acting is just so, I'm glad he is where he is now. Let's just say that. So they get to this internet cafe. Where are they? They just need a computer. Oh, and he starts mentioning all these devices that he needs.
I need a Sinologic 60, Sogo 7 data gloves, a GPL stealth module, one Birdine intelligent translator, and Thompson iPhone.
He puts on his Oculus and his power gloves so he can literally like go through the internet like this.
What are you doing?
Making a long-distance phone call. Beijing, a hotel.
He enters the global net to make a long-distance phone call. This is what 2021 looks like, people. So he's going in there to figure out where the fax was going. Back when he was in Beijing, he finds out it's supposed to go to Dr. Alcom, and the Yakuza are catching up with him in their own VR headsets and power gloves and sets a virus on him. So while he's in there, he's about to exit the internet. The Yakuza are outside. They're about to bust in. That woman who appeared on Takahashi's screen appears to Johnny to try to warn him about something. Johnny's like, who?
Who the hell are you?
And then they run out of there. Jane has this cute little pink grenade on her keys because she's different, and she throws it at the Yakuza and they escape. Takahashi isn't very happy with Laser Thumb, so he hires Carl, a zealot, I think, or a preacher, something.
I need your services.
You need someone brought to Jesus or to you?
his little phone is inside of a Bible. It's inside scripture. Like he cut out, oh my God, whatever. He tells Carl he needs to cut off the head of Johnny. So now Carl's on the loose with his crucifix knife to cut off Johnny's head. Meanwhile, Johnny has decided to call someone at Pharmacom so he can get all this information out of his brain.
So, what exactly is it that you want?
Your data out of my head.
That can be arranged.
Let's meet.
But on the way there, Jane starts convulsing and she has, is it the black shakes?
You got NAS! No! You have the black shakes.
They call it the black shakes because she has NAS. It ain't hard to tell who has NAS because Jane can't carry herself anymore because she's going through it. Johnny brings her to Spider. He apparently is a doctor, some sort of health professional, and starts shooting Jane up in the back with something. Apparently it helps. Johnny starts asking Spider what causes NAS, and he starts to explain that electronics poison the airways.
What causes it? The world causes it. This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves. Technological civilization. But we still have all this because we can't live without it.
My Roomba, the 5G towers, they're all causing NAS. Johnny doesn't care that much. Cut back to Takahashi, who is now learning about who exactly this woman is who keeps appearing on his screen. His assistant, I think, explains that she is Anna Kallman, and she's been imprinted to the Pharmacom neural net installation. Words, just words. Apparently, she used to be the CEO. Her mind has been uploaded to the system. She died already, but she's just a brain. It's just a brain running Pharmacom, apparently. Carl's on a rampage. He finds someone to torture to get information out of them on Johnny and Jane's whereabouts, and he dips a man's prosthetic robotic arm into some liquid nitrogen and smashes it for information.
Name?
Jane.
More.
No. One of Spider's jobs.
Spider?
He's a flesh mechanic.
So Spider decides to do a scan of Johnny's brain so he can see exactly how screwed he is when it comes to the synaptic seepage that's happening in his brain. Johnny at this point still does not know what information he's carrying because it's encrypted. So they decide, okay, let's go to Dr. Allcom because Johnny keeps pushing him and asking him, who's Dr. Allcom? Take me there. So they decide, all right, let's go. They all hop in the car, in the van. Carl steps out and says, halt, sinners.
Halt, sinners!
Spider, look out!
I'm not a sinner. I go to church. They run poor Carl over, but they make it to their destination to meet Dr. Allcom.
Where's Dr. Allcom?
Dr. Allcom is a name used in hospitals when we got a major problem and don't want to spook the patients.
What?
Dr. Allcom to Ward 7.
So it's kind of their like code name for the collective of medical professionals that work there. So Spider hooks Johnny up to an oscilloscope, 2 oscilloscopes. That's not what you use for that, but okay. And finds out that he's carrying the cure for NAS. He's carrying the cure for NAS this whole time, but it's encrypted. So it's going to be really difficult to get it out. Basically, Johnny's choices are cut off your head or get it out and you die. For some reason, there just aren't many options for him. Again, because of the synaptic seepage. So while they're discussing whether or not Johnny should be a martyr, and he doesn't want to be, he's not down for giving up his life for the cure, Carl busts in.
The cure is mine! Behold your savior!
He kicks butt, but Jane and Johnny manage to escape the situation and leave. The Spider stays behind and gets crucified by Carl. So on the way there, Johnny calls up his contact so they can meet and get the information out of his head. And it's actually Takahashi using a hand puppet scanner to pretend to be the contact. They get to the low-tech bridge. I think that's where their hideout is. Johnny tries to like yell and scream and try to get the low-tech guards' attention so they can get up to the headquarters, but they're not really listening. They're having their own conversation.
Man, somebody crazy down there. They're getting on my nerves.
They see who it is. They see Spider's car. They all know Spider, but they decide to pull a prank on Spider and drop a whole car on him. They're like, let's drop a bug on Spider-Man. Johnny's had it. He goes into this huge rant about room service and prostitutes.
Maybe it's not just about you anymore.
I want room service! I want the cold Mexican beer! I want a $10,000 a night hooker!
Just cut his head off at this point. Jane, do us all a favor. I don't know why Jane didn't take matters into her own hands. She has Nas. If she knows Johnny's not going, it doesn't matter. Johnny, shut up. Turns out Johnny's a big baby. He doesn't have big brain energy. He has big baby energy. So J-Bone finally comes down to meet them. He asks, where's Spider? They said he died. He looks over at the flaming car, the bug, because he thinks that his employees or his guards just murdered Spider using that car. But they're like, oh no, he was murdered by crucifixion. Carl did it. So Johnny's getting much worse and he starts having another seepage attack. And they carry him into this room where him and Jane sit down and they get real close and they're talking to each other and they kiss for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. This isn't that kind of movie so far. There's been no chemistry between them except just them being in close proximity right now during an epidemic, and they're kissing. Ice-T walks in and says, we have a room for that. Okay, Ice-T. Maybe that's why they call him J-Bone. He's got a room. It's his room. You know what room it is? My room. Let's go J-Bone. Spread Nas some more. All right, so after that uncomfortable situation, they go to the heart and soul of heaven, which is several CRTs glued together. And they finally, oh, I forgot to mention, this is important. So back when Carl busted in to murder everyone, Spider was trying to fight him off and screamed, go see Mr. Jones.
Go! Get up to Jones!
This is where Mr. Jones actually lives, with the low-techs at the low-tech headquarters. They walk in.
Jones.
Mr. Jones is a dolphin. Mr. Jones is a dolphin. Mr. Jones is a dolphin.
It's a fish.
No, Johnny, it's a dolphin. What did I say? The dolphin apparently works by using infrasound scan. It used to hack through submarines, and now it's this brilliant dolphin that they use. It's a hacker dolphin.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
I'm in. Get out of this room. Get right out of this room. Unacceptable. Because Takahashi was pretending to be Johnny's contact the whole time, the Yakuza know exactly where Johnny is, and they try to grapple their way up to the room that the dolphin's in. So this dolphin, who is this genius hacker, is going to help get the cure out of Johnny's brain, hopefully without killing him. They're not 100% sure, but they get the one picture that Johnny has, the 1 of 3 for the encryption, and they use a flashlight to scan it. Johnny and the dolphin are plugged in, and they go fishing for information. Johnny and the dolphin are plugged in, and they're in their VR space. I don't know what to say. Meanwhile, the Yakuza are blowing the place up with RPGs. So Takahashi makes it into the headquarters, or the heart of the low-techs where all the CRTs are. And Jane's standing there, does this weird, like, Ashley Simpson scoot boot, cartwheels away. Pharmacom lady appears on all those CRTs glued together and tries to tell Takahashi not to kill Johnny because he has the cure in his brain. But Before Takahashi could even react, Laser Thumb Man comes in and shoots Takahashi dead. There's this chase, there's this fight between Johnny and Laser Thumb, and they get into the situation where they're both dangling from the bridge. Johnny takes Laser Thumb's Laser Thumb and beheads Laser Thumb, and Laser Thumb dies. He climbs back up. Takahashi's actually still alive, and he hands him the last picture for the 3-picture encryption for the cure in his brain. Carl's also here. Carl shows up, says,
Jesus Giant.
Tries to crucify, his thing is crucifying. Tries to crucify Jane. Manages to get one hand down before Johnny intervenes. Johnny knocks him over. Carl gets back up, says,
Come to Jesus.
and then they start fighting. When it looks like Carl's about to kill Johnny, the dolphin intervenes and uses its brain to suck the life out of Carl. And then he's holding these things. He gets electrocuted, and then he's on fire, and he just gets completely barbecued. I don't understand how at all, but Carl's down for the count. Carl has met his maker. They try to get the information out of his head again. All their technology is completely fine. Everything gets rebooted. Everything's fine. They plug Johnny back into the dolphin. J-Bone says, get your VCRs ready.
The last blast from Low Tech World Headquarters. And believe this, we're going out with a bang, baby. So get your VCRs ready, because we got what you need.
It's 2021, and the cure is coming to you through your VCR. No, it's not. Please don't. Please don't quote me on that. Please. Johnny and the Dolphin mind link in VR, and this sequence of Johnny's little avatar, there's no words.
Unauthorized interface attempt. Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
While they're in VR, Johnny makes a copy of himself, and then a virus kills the original Johnny, but then J-Bone's like, don't worry, Jane.
That's the double. Don't worry.
So he can go find the last image. They need 3. He's only got 2 right now. The last image is the Pharmacom woman's face. He finds that with his copy, and then and then him and the dolphin retrieve the cure, and then Johnny also gets his memories back. He remembers that he was a little boy in what looks like a mansion, and there's this cake in the grass, like on the ground. He looks up at his disappointed looking mother, and it's a weird memory. I can see now why he wanted to actually take the job of a courier, because that doesn't seem like the greatest memory, but whatever, he's got his memories back. Pharmacom's now on fire. I don't know who set the fire. Maybe the cure being released was rigged to set a fire at Pharmacom.
It might have been the citizens being like, you didn't want us to have this?
Oh, and they're starting to revolt?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the cure? You had a cure? And then the weirdest thing happens. They're watching the Pharmacom building burn down, and they turn around and this scary, creepy music starts playing, and we see Carl's charred body start like reanimating and coming back to life. And then J-Bone's like,
just garbage. Get that out of here.
You see Carl's body being thrown away like trash, his charred body. I don't know why they went with that decision, just to do some weird fake out at the end, like, oh, is he coming back to life? Is he being resurrected?
Jesus Giant.
That's the end of the movie. For those of you worried about 2021, look at what we have to look forward to. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me one laser thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. Have a great day.
Instead of using Kiana USB, just use regular USB.
Well, the benefit of using Keanu USB is that it's encrypted and he can fight people off for the information he has in his brain. So if he's fighting someone and it's in his pocket, what if it falls out of his pocket? It won't fall out of his brain. You gotta think with your brain.
Yeah, sorry.
You only got 80 gigs in there? I'm sorry, that was rude.